You're listening to the SS Experience on SMG.
I probably should have waited. I'll edit that later. Oh snap! You got a dope background. Got the political stuff going on in the background. Oh, that's dope.
I was gonna ask you if you wanted me to use the background or should I,
No, no, that goes
good?
hard. Cause at first,
Okay.
I was thinking like, oh, she's about to be one of the ones that do Zoom and then just be like a logo like this or whatever. But then I saw you started moving. I'm like, oh, I need to get one of those backgrounds, or at least need to get someone to engineer me one of those backgrounds. Kalia, my video person, get me one
Okay.
of those backgrounds. I need it ASAP. So,
Yeah, this is I just put this together on Canva. Canva on there's a software called Canva,
uh-huh.
and it's a graphic design software, and you can just make a Zoom background. So I make all my Zoom backgrounds.
No, I'm definitely gonna do that. That's definitely for sure. I like that. Well, Miss Jamila, thank you for joining the show today. Definitely want to help you out with the political aspirations or whatever out in College Park. So, before we quote unquote start the interview, as a journalist, I like to try to do my research. And when I say try to do my research, I just mean being on Twitter, being on Instagram, and just creeping through profiles and stuff. But I saw something that was very interesting on your LinkedIn profile. And if you don't mind, I want to pull this out real quick.
Okay.
I saw that you was an alumni of Virginia, so I said, let me go ahead and pull this out before March Madness because I normally pull this out during March Madness. But I said, let me go ahead and pull it out real quick because I seen that you was an alumni of UVA.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
a Wahoo Wah Cavalier.
there you go. Well, I didn't have the money to go to UVA. I did have the grades, so I did graduate from an HBCU, Virginia State
Okay,
University.
cool,
So,
cool.
we stole y'all colors pretty much. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes the blue is a little bit lighter, depends on which outfit that we're wearing or whatever. But nobody can tell the difference. It's all, you know what I'm saying? It's all blue and orange. You know what I'm saying? When we walk around the streets.
Exactly, exactly, exactly.
So I want to start off there real quick because I seen that you had a degree in sociology. I remember when I was in college before I got my degree in mass communications, I wanted to do sociology. That was like I had interest in that, but then I didn't know what could I do with that to make money. So what made you stick with sociology throughout your career at UVA?
Well, the real deal is my first 2 years, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I kept changing majors. I came in there, architecture major, then a pre-med major, like so every semester I changed. And sociology, and then it was government. So by the time I had to decide, I said, oh, sociology. I had taken a bunch of sociology classes. And I had an interest in psychology, but sociology was more so the study of how people work together, just the components of that, the environmental relationship. So
Right.
and I'm a social buzzard. So, it was just, to me, it was interesting. I had also, after my first year in undergrad, my sociology professor, she was African American, of course, UVA. I went to UVA back in the 79. So
I
that's a
see. I didn't want to say that because when I seen when you graduated, I didn't want to say nothing. I was like, I was outside. Let me see if by time if you graduated, let's say like May, I just came outside. I'll just leave it like that. I just came outside when that happens. But no, go ahead though.
Yeah, and tuition was really low, and so at that time, so it was affordable back in those days. And my sociology teacher, she was African American, and we did a study. My first year, we went to Muncie, Indiana, and we lived in Muncie, Indiana. It was 9 of us, and it was called the Muncie, Indiana Project. And I was an oral technician, and I got a chance to go to different people's, mainly senior citizens throughout Muncie and Indiana, interviewing them. And I mean, it was so much fun. And that is what made me decide to major in sociology. I felt some of the other things, I just couldn't feel it. And with sociology, I felt it. Yes, the problem is majoring in sociology. What do? You got to either go back to school, get a PhD or master's in sociology,
Hmm.
go into social work. And so what I did is, after I finished my undergrad, I went back to UVA for graduate school, and I majored in education and business. And while I was in graduate school, I was recruited by Macy's New York into their executive training program. And I stayed with that company and became a buyer with Macy's. So yeah, I never did anything with the sociology degree in terms of job wise. But in terms of helping me as a person to understand group psychology, it was really good.
Well, I can say this: you're not the first person to get a college degree and not actually use the college degree for what it was meant for. You're not the first, and you're not the last. I definitely
That's right.
guarantee that. So I got Jamelle. Am I saying it right? Jamelle? How am I saying
Jamelle,
it?
just Jamelle, but it doesn't
Okay.
bother me, but it is just plain Jamelle. I get called Jamil, Jamal, Jamila, Jamila. I answer to everything.
All right.
I
Well,
yo.
I got Jamelle McKenzie on 106.7 The Beat and the SS Experience. She's running for City Council Ward 1 out in College Park. And I wanted to go through your resume real quick because I seen that you got a lot of stuff going on. The Saul Foundation, Ignite Resources. We'll get into that in a second. So I was on, as again, trying to, pretend to be a journalist, even though I'm pretty much a gas bag that talks hip hop and R&B. But I definitely like to dibble and dabble in politics all the time. You have a statement that's on your website, Jamelle McKenzie, the number 4, collegepark.com. You have a quote where you said, "I came into the community of College Park. I saw a need and I felt like it was my responsibility to step up to the plate and fill that need." What did you see that needed to be done, and why are you the person who needs to fill that need?
Again, that's a very good question. When I actually was a chaplain for the Henry County Police Department before my husband and I moved to College Park, and it was predominantly white. In fact, I was the only female chaplain and one of 3 African American chaplains. I became a chaplain because I was concerned. This was back in 2016. And, at that time, we had a few things. Trayvon Martin, I think, was going on, even that it wasn't really necessarily police related, but there were a lot of concerns, in terms of racism and how our African Americans were being treated by the police. And I felt like it was like a calling to be there, ride with these police officers. And I'm a Black mother with a Black son. And, as they would relate to me, hopefully that would help them to think twice or to think before they, acted violently, or they may have been, racially inspired in their actions. So I started in Henry County, but then I'm moving to College Park, which the city was at that point was probably about 82% African American. And I'm saying, hey, I'm driving all the way down to Henry County. Why don't I just be a chaplain where I'm at? So I met with the chief of police, asked him if he had a chaplaincy department. He said, no, he didn't. So he said, but we need one. He said, can you help me? Can you help me? Well, that was a need. So, and this is before we even moved. We were having a house built here in College Park. So that was it. I hit the ground running. I saw a need. And then shortly after I write the standard operating procedures for the chaplaincy. I become the first chaplain. Then I recruit and interview and recruit 4 more chaplains, and we set this whole chaplaincy corps. And then we not only have chaplains in the police department, we got them in the fire department as well. So I'm doing that. And then my council person says to me for my ward, and this is the ward that I'm running for now, he says, hey, Jamelle, I got a situation. My board member for the Business Industrial Development Authority for the city is not going to be able to complete his term. I'd like for you to consider that. And you can learn a lot about the city. I had a business background, but I also had the people background. I was working with the police department and the community. I know this is a long answer.
No. Hey, look, the less work I got to do. Go ahead.
So basically he said, so there was a need. So I stepped up to the plate again. I didn't know, I wasn't a developer. Didn't know a lot about, I knew a lot about contracts from my own business, but I did not know a lot about development contracts or bonds and that kind of thing. Had a little knowledge, but not really strong knowledge. But I took it on. And so I do that. And within a few months after I'm doing that, the city is having difficulty because there's so many people that are calling the mayor and the council people, and they have needs. They can't pay their electric bills. They're homeless. They need food. So my councilman again says to me, hey, Jamelle, we got a problem in this city. And I had a nonprofit at that time, and I still do. And so basically he said, we need to have somebody that can be the middleman, meaning, somebody to kind of, because we can't do it. We don't know where to send them. And so we established the Ignite Resource Center. So that was again. So I found my journey here ever since I hit the ground. College Park has been, when there's a need, I step up to the plate. And I use the business acumen that I have, my background experience, but mainly my passion, my heart, because I care about people. And if it's something I got to learn, I take the classes and I learn, or I learn from those who have experience, So I partner with people, do whatever's necessary. I just have come to see that I'm happy when I feel like I'm making an impact in someone's life. That makes my life better when I can help make someone else's life better.
And I definitely can understand that, especially when it comes to like interviews, when I interview music artists, politicians like yourself and all of that, just being an individual who's Jennifer Freeman trying to get up in here?
Oh, that's my campaign organizer.
Oh, she wants to get in? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Let her in. That's what I'm about to say. Who's trying to get it? Who's trying to get into the club?
I sent you an Instagram, but I guess you hadn't gotten it. To just tell her, hey Jennifer, we can only see the top of your head.
and the fan.
We see the fan really good.
Yeah, the fan looks great. Nice little wood there, little gold trims on it. Look like the fans at my mom and my dad's house. So we got Jamelle McKenzie, on the SS Experience and on 106.7 The Beat. She's running for City Council Ward 1 out in College Park, or College Park is how they say it out here.
College Park.
There you go. So I wanted to go through your 3 pillars. A lot of people who know about Islam knows about the 5 pillars, which are things that individuals live by, way of life, and things of that nature. So you have 3 pillars. I don't know if this is the name of the pillar, but it is broken down, so correct me if I'm wrong. Safety with community stewardship. I know that you spoke about that a lot with the chaplain of the police stations and all of that. Again, you probably gave like a lot of the answers a lot of the answers to the questions that I wanted to give. But if you want to expound a little bit more on your 3 pillars, starting with safety with community. Or as a matter of fact, let's not do that one because you kind of did that already. We'll just say that you did that one already. Let's go to I guess we can call this your second pillar, diversity and inclusion. What do you think is the problems and the issues with diversity and inclusion, or how do you think that you can actually improve the diversity and inclusion out in College Park?
When I look at creation, we're talking about Islam and, how the creator has made everything so beautiful and things are different, and everything in these different ecosystems are needed and work together. Creation knows how to do this. Nature knows how to do this. But when it comes to humans, we do not respect the respect and the honor for diversity, meaning understanding that being different doesn't mean that we're not equal or that you're less than. And, the differences, part of the reason why you have differences is because no man is an island. No one has all of the answers. And so when we start looking at the parts of a puzzle, the different pieces come together to make the whole. So basically what I find oftentimes is that we have, even within our community, you have different sections of the community, different cultures, different economics, and there's not a sense of unity. Or, like I said, or people get discluded, if that's a word, or disincluded.
Well, as long as you can give it a definition, it's a word. That's how I always say it. You give it a definition, it's a word.
So diversity, and one of my my little hashtags is one ward one. I look through my ward, even within my ward, I see that there are different parts. The community is separated in so many ways. My ward is one of the most diverse wards in the city of College Park, meaning we have just about every culture, every ethnicity that is in Georgia is in our ward. We have all of the different socioeconomics. And there is a reason that our ward is like that. And we have to be able to embrace the things that make us different in order to make us better. So diversity and inclusion is accepting the things that are different, honoring the things that are different, and utilizing those things for us to make this one great culture that we have in College Park. Or, you know, I mean, that could be the world, but I'm focusing on College Park. So that is, you know, honoring diversity and seeing all people as assets, not resources that you just use, but assets that, you know, bring something awesome and amazing to the table. If I'm speaking to you, it's not just for me to use you, but there's something that I also have to honor you. So I'm really big on honor. I'm big on dignity.
Okay, we got Jamelle McKenzie on 106.7 The Beat, the SS Experience, running for Ward 1 City Council out there in College Park. You touched on this a little bit earlier about the business developmental part of your experience, which I believe one of your other pillars, intentional strategic development with accessibility. What's the problem with accessibility? Why aren't certain people getting access to the things that they need? I guess if you're talking about business owners needing loans or homeowners needing things to build up their property, what's the issue with that, and what are the things that your platform and campaign will do about that?
Okay, well, one thing I got to start with the intentional strategic development, if that's okay. We are in the city of College Park. Many people are probably aware that we had Jennifer. I think you're on. You might need to mute. I don't know. In the city of College Park, we have a major development which was called Airport City until a couple of years ago, and now it's called 6 West. The city is developing over 300 acres, and it's on prime property, and the majority of that is in the ward that I'm running for. And so it's important that as we develop that property, that we are being intentional, meaning we're not just deciding it's going to be hodgepodge, put this there, that there, but meaning having some relevance, finding what are the things that make our community what it is, the strengths of our community, but also how can we progress? So how can we honor what we have and build upon that within this development, but then also how can we see progress and become even better? So we are located, College Park, talking in terms of accessibility, College Park, in our backyard, on our land, we have the world's busiest airport. Hartsfield-Jackson Airport is the world's busiest airport. And so meaning, how do we even take how I would like to see, my vision is to see somebody fly in on a Delta airplane, any airplane, doesn't matter, stay in a hotel. We have 37 hotels and more that are being built. How do we, as an economy and as a community, begin to capitalize and grow economically through the advantages that we have? So I'd like to see somebody flying on a plane, stay in one of my hotels, eat in my restaurant. So I want to see a thriving business community. So everything that we're doing, it should complement. And there should also be, we're an airport community. So even theming, looking at a theme, we also are a community where, you know, your hip hop, you interview people in hip hop. We've got a lot of artists that have come out of the College Park area. Mm-hmm. So looking at in terms of music culture, and then as well, the business community. And we have some amazing restaurants that are here. And we want to be able to be accessible. What I mean is I want people from different parts of Atlanta, from the airport. We also have the second largest convention center in the state of Georgia in our city. And we own our own arena where a G League basketball team, NBA G League team plays, and the WNBA, the Atlanta Dream, plays. So you want to have we want to be, when I talk about accessible, I want us to be easy to get to, and I want us to be easy to get around. I want people that live in different parts of the city for them to be able to get to where they want. Because, sometimes you live somewhere and you've never even seen what's in your own city. And so even as we build our 6 West, making sure that it's accessible to all persons, to our visitors, to our residents, and then persons that are from, outlying areas of the city.
So as a person who isn't from the area, like I said, I'm originally, quote unquote, I'm born here, but when I was 3, I moved to Virginia, and I've been a Virginian ever since. So I'm more of a Decatur type individual. But for everybody else who doesn't really know the dynamics of the Atlanta metropolitan area. And you did kind of touch on this a little bit, but I kind of just wanted to put it out there in a question. What does make College Park, different from, your Decaturs, your, I don't know if East Point's considered city, because like I said, I don't know what's considered cities, what's considered suburbs or whatever, but and you did touch on this a few earlier. Let's attract people to College Park. You know what I'm saying? So you mentioned that the Atlanta Dream plays in College Park. I didn't know that. I really thought they played in State Farm. I really did. No cap. I didn't know that. So you definitely put me on something right there. The airport. Didn't really know that the airport was in College Park. I just thought that was still a part of Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got this big airport here. Should be Atlanta. It's not Atlanta. It's College Park. You mentioned that music artist is from here. I was just at an event, not with Jermaine Dupri, but Jermaine Dupri was way in the front and I was way in the back, but I was in the same building as him and he was talking a little bit about College Park. What do you see about the youth though in College Park? Like, what are some things that, because those are the people who, we want to try to talk to, that I always say with politicians. I always want you guys to speak to the 18-year-olds who probably don't care about voting. We want to get them involved in the voting process or whatever. So what will your administration do to, I guess, better the lives of, the young, or things that you see that could, help out the young, within, their young adult years?
Well, actually, as a nonprofit leader, I started a program back in 2021 called Birthright by Legacy. And it is specifically a program for teens 16 to 19 years old. What I found is there are loads of programs, or there's lots of services available for children in elementary school. As you get to middle school, the pickings get a little slim. But by the time you're in high school, there's really not that much for students. I mean, there are programs, don't get me wrong, but I really wanted to do something for young people that may not have the access. And especially in my city, I started with, most of the students in our program, 16 to 18. It is a youth leadership, entrepreneurship, and innovation program. And we divide the program into 3 sessions. The first session is called You Matter. And we spend time building the self-esteem or the esteem of these young people, letting them know, look, you matter. Everything about you. Remember, I'm an honor person. I'm a dignity person. Yep. We have a life coach that meets with each of these children for an hour. An hour each of the 3 sessions. Okay. And so that person, they're kind of looking at, what do you want to do with your life? What's your interest? So we start doing career path mapping. The second 6 weeks is called Money Matters. And then we start helping these young people get a relationship with money, because money answers all things. It's not the answer to all things, but it does answer to all things. And so teaching them how to budget, understanding even what stocks are, savings, and what are your future financial goals? And the last 6 weeks of the program is actually a paid internship. So we're getting them ready. We're trying to identify first what it is that you want to do in life. And then second, in fact, Carly Red was one of the people that came on when we first started our program, and she challenged all of our young people, this was the first year's class, to come up with a business plan. And, for just some type of entrepreneurial venture that they would do. And that was a really fun project for them. So we introduced them. So even during the whole 18-week program, we're constantly introducing them to persons from all over the world, whether it be doctors, lawyers, Indian chiefs, celebrities, persons who have had situations in their life that they overcame. And the youth get to speak to these people. And 98.9% of them are African American, because we want them to be able to see themselves. We want them to see that this person did it. In fact, we had a world class, now his name has escaped me, but we had an Olympian in our last year's session. So the last 6 weeks, we pair them, we get them an internship at a business that is an interest for them. I mean, we don't send them to Office Depot to work, to work behind as a cashier. I mean, if you want to be a manager and a managerial, the businesses have to agree that the owners or the supervisors or whatever are going to spend time and let these youth shadow them. We pay them, we raise money. So it's not like the business has to come up with money, because we're making a list of demands. And this has been an amazing opportunity. We have seen so many lives change. And so in terms of what do I plan to do for you, I plan to continue this. I can plan to continue programs such as this throughout my community, and working with the business owners. I'm very, very involved with the business owners in our city, and then also our recreation department. We have a fabulous recreation department in the city of College Park, and there's opportunities as well to get our youth involved. But again, sports is not everything. And a lot of times we spend a lot of our focus on sports and even music. You know, music is hard. Boy, my son is a big DJ here in Atlanta, but it wasn't easy getting to that point, So you still want to have something else under your belt as well. You can go and pursue your dream, but while you're pursuing your dream, you probably need to have some type of a skill, and not everybody's going to go to college. So we're also working on another thing with Fulton County Schools. We had a McLaren, which was our it was an alternative school here in College Park. It closed down, and now we're going to actually be putting in an institute which people can get trained, they can get certificates, and it'll be that kind of a program where you don't have to go to college, but right from high school you could get into construction, welders, or those different types of even maybe we might even have a be able to get your license in cosmetology. But just offering different opportunities and letting people know that you can make it. So I'm very, 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 very youth focused, and I'm senior citizen focused.
Okay, well, I'm glad that you mentioned about senior citizens, but before we get into the senior citizens, I want to talk about when we talk about local politics, we always want to know who you will align yourself with in like the bigger picture. So I want to ask you a question more or less about national politics, because unfortunately a lot of people only vote when it's a presidential election. They don't vote during the primaries, they don't vote during local elections and things like that. So we want to again try to get the people to vote during first off, because again, I'm not a Georgian, even though I could vote out here, but I just haven't yet. When are these elections? Are these elections coming up in November, or this one of those like midterm summer elections
My election is a November election. So some people say I'm starting early, but it's really not that I started a long time ago.
I got you.
I've been involved in the community. I just announced that I was going to be running, but I've been involved in the community. So this is a November 7th, 2023. There will be early voting that'll start in October, but the election day is November 7th.
Okay, so we make sure that we get everybody out to the polls on November 7th. What do you think about the state of politics from a national perspective?
Well, I think the national perspective and the local perspective, I think politics is kind of all in the same bowl, that we need leadership in this country, whether it be from the White House, and I'm not attacking the White House, I'm just saying from the White House to the smaller municipalities, where you have leaders that are committed to their community. I still see a lot of self-serving. I see a lot of the failure to be transparent. We need, as American people, we need transparency, and we need leaders that are going to be accountable to the people. We started with our campaign. We're having a series of listening sessions. We had one this past Wednesday. My feeling is I can't represent anybody if I don't hear from you. I need to know your voice, because I am not there. Elected officials are not there to represent themselves. They're not there to promote themselves. Of course, you are promoting. There is a self-promotion in terms of your election, because people need to know who you are. Mm-hmm. But once you're in office, and why you're in office is for the people. So what I just see is just a lot of cat and mice. It just seems like we have, it's just if one person puts this legislation, I don't like that individual, so I'm not going to agree to it. So we need to be looking at what the greater good is. What does our country need? What are the needs of our people? Hear the voice of our people and represent our people, even if it's not your own viewpoint. If you're in a district and the majority of your people feel a certain way, and you're a representative, your job is to be an ambassador. You're the messenger. You're the messenger. And you should carry the message, and you should fight for whatever that message is or whatever that need is for your community, and get your little self out the way.
No, that's definitely understandable because that is one of the big problems that, the White House, Biden, and all of them is having is just they try to create something that's real good, and then the other side, the right. Yeah, that's right. Because
That's
they think
right. The
that,
right and the left.
yeah, because I be trying to remember like which one am I? Because I'm left and they're right because they think that they're right, so they're right, and that's how I try to remember. You know what I'm saying? They think that they're right, so they're right, and then we're left. So you got people on the right that don't want to do certain things, and it just affects people on the left, and then the people who get screwed is the people in the middle or the people who are just regular citizens like ourselves or whatnot. Um, it kind of goes back to the whole diversity and inclusion thing. I was going to ask you, did you have any issues with that? But I would be irresponsible if I didn't get you to expound a little bit more on the elderly that you were speaking of earlier. I mean, I did ask you questions about the youth, but we try to get some older people in the demographic, try to get, some of the 40 and 45-year-olds to, come by and listen to the clown show that I try to put on from time to time. But when I try to be serious, I try to be serious. But the elderly people, what are some things that you see that the elderly people are lacking? Because I just was watching Fox 5 just a second ago, and they were just talking about this nurse worker or whatever that just basically left this 63-year-old lady just to be to herself, and she just basically died, just kind of like left her to her own devices, and basically not taking care of her. And that's one thing that I don't tolerate. I don't tolerate messing with kids, and I don't tolerate mess with old people, elderly people, however you want to classify them. So what do you think the elderly people need, and how can you help out the elderly, with their life and the things that they have going on? Because obviously being old isn't the greatest thing in the world. I mean, it's great as far as life goes, but you're not as young as you used to be, and you want to make sure that those twilight years, as they say, are good years.
Great question. I grew up in a 3-generational household. So my grandparents, so I always was given honor and understanding for persons that were, my grandparents were probably 40, 50 years older than me. So, you definitely, elderly have always been important. One thing that elderly our older or seniors need is they need to know, first of all, they need to know that there's somebody that cares about them. They need to be protected. There's a lot of, even from scams, because what happens is technology is always evolving and changing. Mm-hmm. And so, the biggest thing that I see that happens with a lot of our seniors is, they get these calls and their money. So some type of form of protection for seniors, but that's not something that we talk about a lot. But in terms of making sure that our seniors have quality health care, a lot of them they receive Medicare, but just because you receive Medicare doesn't mean that you have a really good doctor. I'm happy to see a lot of new companies that are coming up to provide state-of-the-art care for our seniors. Our seniors need what we did. We had a program where we had food delivered, meals, and even groceries. So in terms of anything that has to do with their health, when we were dealing with the onset of the COVID pandemic, a lot of our seniors, they were the most compromised population. And so several of them weren't leaving their homes. And even in terms of their diet. So diet, health, because a good diet and being in good health will give you quality of life as you age. And so those are the types of things. Also, having activities for our seniors. Here in College Park, we do have a very active senior community. And lo and behold, the seniors are basically, those are our biggest voting base. And that's why I can't understand, a person getting into office and not protecting senior rights, making sure that our seniors have longevity, quality of life, and to know that they're cared about.
I don't know, where do I hear your voice somewhere else, but one of these phones is playing you.
That's weird.
Yeah, that's crazy. You're like your message was just playing.
Oh, I think that was my website.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But I don't know which phone was just playing it. Like, it was just weird because I was on your website just, doing my journalism thing, trying to find some good questions and talking points. I guess I accidentally played one of your videos. So I got Jamelle McKenzie on the SS Experience on 167 The Beat, running for Ward 1 City Council out there in College Park. I normally like to play some sort of like fun game, but I was really more focused on the whole political thing. I normally do like a top 5 of something, but Definitely, I dropped the ball. I dropped the ball on this one. I normally have like a nice little top five list or something to throw at you or whatever. But just keeping on going with the last couple of minutes that we have here. So, are you a Georgian that went to UVA, or are you one of those like Atlanta transplants, as some technically would say I am?
Well, my accent must really be gone. I was born in Brooklyn, New York, and I went to college. I actually went to UVA when I was 16. I graduated from high school and went to Virginia. And my family, my roots are Southern, but I grew up in the North. And so I once I went back when I graduated for school, and I became a buyer for Macy's New York. But being in the South kind of messed me up. I love the South. And as soon as we had that opportunity, 37 buyers from Macy's were being relocated to the South. And I volunteered to come down here because I just love, even though I love New York, I love the lifestyle here. So I am a northern transplant from Brooklyn, New York.
No, 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 no. I'm glad that you mentioned that because I have a nice game that I love to play with New Yorkers. I have three words that I always make New Yorkers say.
Okay.
Say hot dog.
Hot dog.
There
Dog.
we go. There you go.
I can't say hot dog.
No, no,
I
no,
say
no, no,
hot
no,
dog.
no, no,
Hot
no, no.
dog.
That's exactly how the New Yorkers say it. Say cross.
Cross.
Hot dog was a little bit. Hot dog was a little bit
Okay,
more. Hot dog.
I've been assimilated.
No, no, no. It's all good. And then obviously the one word New York.
New York.
Okay, it's
I'm
there.
from New
We just had
York.
it. We just had to force it out there real quick because I can definitely understand the culture shock that you went through from being in New York and then going to Charlottesville, Virginia. Like me being from Virginia Beach, Virginia, I get a culture shock going to Charlottesville, Virginia, and I'm still within the same state. You know what I'm saying? I'm just 64 West. I mean 60. Yeah, 64 West going up there, and I still get the same culture shock being up there. So I know for you saw big buildings, boroughs, trains, and then you go to the quote unquote plantation of Thomas Jefferson and
Oh
everything
yeah.
else. So
Yeah.
that's definitely crazy. So again, Jamelle McKenzie running for Ward 1 City Council out here in College Park on 1067 to be in the SS experience. So with the last minute or two left, I know the campaign is starting very early for you, but this video and this recording will run for a very, very long time just to make sure that people, are into the know or whatnot. Just last thoughts, you know what I'm saying? Last thoughts before we go.
I just, again, I am looking forward to continuing to serve. As you saw on the website, that there is a need in my city for proper representation for a person that is caring, a person that's intelligent, a person that's involved, transparent, and that is going to roll up their sleeves without reservation to serve the people. And that person is myself. I also want to invite persons to check out our website, which is Jamelle McKenzie, the number 4, for collegepark.com. We are holding a series of listening sessions over the next few weeks, and we'd like to definitely invite anybody. In fact, they'll be done virtually, so a person can do it it will be on Zoom, and people that would like to learn more about me, learn more about College Park, and especially my community, I want to invite them to come out, be a part. I'm not looking just to be a candidate or a politician. We're looking to have a movement that creates a community within College Park where everyone can thrive.
Well, Jamelle, I don't want this thing to cut off while you're doing that great soliloquy. So Jamelle McKenzie, number 4, collegepark.com. If it cuts off while you're plugging your IG, but I'll have the IG tagged and everything else. So Jamelle, it was a pleasure talking to you. I'll make sure that this thing runs, and let's get you up in College Park.
Thank you.
Thanks, Shot.
You're listening to the SS Experience on SMG.